What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Luis King Kong Ortiz. Get this. Luis Ortiz states that Joyce is a liar. He never made me an offer. Wow. Joyce, 13-0, last fought in July when he stopped Carlos Takam in 6 rounds. The plan is for him to fight again before the end of the year, but according to the 36-year-old, it has been hard to secure an opponent. Last week in an interview on IFL TV, he claimed that the top heavyweight contender Luis Ortiz, which is 32-2, rejected an offer to fight him. That was an option to fight Joseph Parker. But he obviously now is going to fight Derek Chisora, and there were a few more names. Ortiz was mentioned, but I'm not sure if he wants the smoke. But there are other names around the area. We'll see what we can get, Joyce said. Joyce was a little more blunt when asked to confirm whether or not Ortiz has turned it down. He said, yeah, he didn't want a war, Joyce said. When made aware of Joyce's comments, Ortiz couldn't help but to shake his head. He says Joyce is a liar, and it's very embarrassing to him as a man and as a boxer because at no time has he spoke to me or Jay Jimenez, his manager, or his coach, Herman Calcedo, Ortiz told BoxingScene.com. We at King Kong's boxing camp would love to know who this little ego man spoke to, and why would he lie when he knows full well Luis King Kong Ortiz has never turned down a fight in his life. Our camps don't even have communication or even have each other's number. Those were the words of Luis Ortiz. Let me counterpunch. First of all, let's go back, because I think I have that on file. I have that video on file, right? So let's take a look at it real quick. It was about 4 days ago. I think he had that. So let's see.
I think Ortiz was mentioned, but I'm not sure he wants to smoke. But there's other names on that around that area. So we'll see who we can get.
So Luis Ortiz and his team got offers.
I'd imagine so. I mean, like, the better person would be Adam or Sam to talk to. But yeah, that's in the back of my mind, that's what I can remember of the opponents.
So in your understanding, he refused the fight.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't want a war with a juggernaut.
He doesn't want a war.
So, that wasn't really verified. If you remember him saying, he said, I think you could either talk to Adam or Sam about that. Okay, and those are his managers. Those are the people that he works with, right? Now, Sam or Adam hasn't confirmed that. This is just from Joyce, and he said, I think he was one of those ones, if I could remember, one of those opponents that we called out. And I don't think, and it's in the back of my mind, I want to say that he didn't want the smoke. In the back of my mind, he doesn't want it. That doesn't mean that it was definitely an offer sent to Luis Ortiz. Now, here's the thing. I'm skeptical about Luis Ortiz's Jay Jimenez because this Jay Jimenez was the person of contact with Eddie Hearn when offered that huge deal with Anthony Joshua back in the day, a couple years ago. And according to Luis Ortiz and Herman Calcedo, Jay Jimenez never put or kept Luis Ortiz in the loop for anything. He was in contact with Al Haymon because Al Haymon offered him the rematch with Deontay Wilder, which happened. So you can't say it didn't happen, but what you can say is Jay Jimenez didn't do his job like he's supposed to. Anytime you come in contact with any possible other fights or other avenues, you're supposed to let your fighter know. Jay Jimenez didn't do that. Jay Jimenez, in fact, went on his social media, which, then you don't know whose fault that is. But then he went on his social media, Luis Ortiz's social media, and said that Eddie Hearn lowballed us. Okay. And when Eddie found out about that, he was pissed off. Like, why would you think we would do something like that? Okay. And I don't think Eddie Hearn and Luis Ortiz really have a working relationship anyway, because he used to fight for Matchroom, if you guys can remember. You know, he beat Malik Scott and he knocked out Dave Allen. Okay. The Hung Rhino. But, you know, from Jay Jimenez doing that on Instagram, because that was an Instagram post, I remember it. Him doing that, and then Luis Ortiz not seeing that in time to even respond. That's the problem I have with Luis Ortiz, and that always will be the problem. He doesn't have contact with, or he's not even savvy enough to know, like, hey, what's going on with my social media? Get you a fucking cell phone, you know what I mean? And check what your managers do. Because that's public knowledge on what Jay Jimenez did with Eddie Hearn. That's public knowledge. He posted that, and that immediately got the attention of Eddie Hearn. And then you're sitting in a gym and don't know nothing? Come on, man. You know what I mean? And if it is not Luis Ortiz, it could at least been Herman. Like, yo, Louis, you know, this is what's going on. This is what Jay Jimenez done. And if that's the case, if they dropped the ball like Jay Jimenez admitted, that he should have fired Jay Jimenez. You know what I'm saying? Because that was for the unified championship of the world, something that he was once in line to get on the WBA end until the discrepancy of drugs, right? So, you know, and then another thing, he has never turned down a fight in his life. Our camps don't even have communication or even have his other's number. Okay, that's another problem. Why don't you have the number of these fighters that you claim that's supposed to be on your radar? Who the hell is on your radar? You don't even have numbers to these guys. So why? You're a manager, right? You're supposed to have these type of tools. I don't have his number. Well, how the hell is he going to get a fight? I remember Joyce's trainer, Abel Sanchez, turning down a fight with Luis Ortiz back in the day. I remember that. But then it's like no one ever hears from Luis Ortiz in an ample amount of time. It's always either a week later, like this was 4 days ago, right? But I think it was on the 21st. This is the 25th, so it was 4 days ago. Actually, I think it may be, about 4 days ago. And it's always after the fact. But at least Luis Ortiz has responded, because at that point, instead of them saying, hey, we don't have their communication or even have their number, why don't you get that number? Because as far as I know, isn't Joyce, isn't he still looking for a fight? And what the hell is Luis Ortiz doing? What has he done besides that floating rib shot of Alexander Flores? What has he done since then? You know what I mean? It lasted half a round. So he needs a fight too. So let's look up Joe Joyce's stuff, you know what I mean? Because I don't think he has an opponent, because Joseph Parker is fighting Chisora again. You know, he's 36 years old, man. He was born September 19th. Yeah, he just turned 36. Dude, you're almost 40 years old. So, you know, Luis Ortiz is in his 40s, right? So, come on. You know, Carlos Takam, that was his last fight, which was in July. Okay, well, what's the problem, right? Luis Ortiz hasn't fought since earlier this year, right? You know, and you know they're dragging him around for that Andy Ruiz fight, and there's no guarantee he's going to get that fight, because they will never be in a situation where they know if he's actually going to fight. See, that was in November. See, that he hasn't even fought this year. Okay, I thought that was actually earlier this year. That was in November of 2020. This is September of 2021. It's damn near been a year since he's been in the ring. So, again, what are they waiting on? Instead of them saying, oh, we never said that, he's a liar and this. Okay, call him out, send him a contract, make an offer, and let's get this fight done. All this trash talk, it's cool, but at the end of the day, it doesn't get shit done. It don't. Now, if Joe Joyce lied, I mean, and we heard it. Joe Joyce said, oh, well, I think he was one of the names. He wasn't really sure. Then the other one, the rest of it was just cap. Okay? But if you want a fight to be done, both of these guys are available. Let's see who does what. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on this. You guys tell me what you think about Luis Ortiz calling Joe Joyce a liar. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch.